You're recording, honey.
Oh my gosh, you're recording. I'm not ready.
Make the screen bigger and let's go. We got things to do, honey.
We have things to do and places to go.
And grass to cut.
Grass to cut. And topics to talk about.
Topics to talk about. We can't do a welcome to another episode.
Why?
Well, you can do your part.
Huh?
Welcome, honey.
Where can we do it?
To another episode.
Are we doing it?
Of Drive It to the Res. Which we can't do unless we actually go for a drive to the res. That's what I was saying.
Oh.
With your
that's
favorite
really
hosts.
Complicated.
With your favorite hosts.
Inelia.
Gosh. Larry.
And Larry.
Okay. Good enough then.
Or, as the people in the res say, Larry's podcasting with his wife Inelia.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, so cute.
Yeah, we're going to have a stand on Macades. Did I tell you that?
You did tell me that, yeah.
Right.
Driving to the res.
Drive it to the Reds. Drive it to the Reds. Driving to the Reds. Drive it to the Res on Macades. That's the last weekend of August.
Yes.
We'll have our own booth.
With our own live broadcasts stream somewhere. We don't know where yet.
Yeah, we'll do a live stream.
Yes.
Yep. And
Macade
we will have some, I hope, t-shirts.
Yes, we're leaving it a little bit late for all that. But we might have some interesting things.
Maybe sweatshirts, maybe a hat, maybe mugs. And for sure, some mystical, magical stuff.
Yep, for sure.
Well, maybe. Everything is for sure.
Maybe.
Everything is.
We'll definitely have books.
Sure. Yeah, we will definitely have books. Well, yes, we will definitely.
Yes.
We have a box of books.
Yes, we do.
We'll sign some. We'll talk some. We mostly want to, well, at least me, from my side of it, because it's my podcast with my wife, you know.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
I mostly wanted to, you know, have a public face, have a physical presence.
Yes.
Because there's thousands of people that are going to be there in that day, and thousands of people, and of those thousands of people, some hundreds at least, who are interested in the things we talk about.
Yep, totally.
But we got to be able to be found.
Mm-hmm.
And
right about that.
Our sponsors,
you,
this people that we're talking to,
yes,
our sponsors, you know, they sponsor us.
Yes. How do they sponsor us?
By sharing the Substack, sharing the Subscribe Star, sharing the podcast, sharing the newsletter, sharing the content, whatever it is that they have, with people like I'm going to be doing on Macades with you, with people who are, you know, interested in it. That's all. You just share with people who are interested in it. That's all. That's all. That's a lot, but that's all you have to do.
Yep.
You share what you read that you find interesting with people who would be interested.
Or not. You don't know they're interested until you try, right?
Well,
and if you think, oh, but they'll think I'm a nutter. It's about time that you came out of the closet as a nutter. Okay.
I don't know why would
come out of the closet as a nutter.
Oh, no. Our podcast today is about power on earth and its link to shrines. I don't know how that's nutter.
Nutter?
Yeah.
I don't know either.
Okay, so I don't think there's any excuse.
We do talk about aliens, which are no longer nutters,
That's
actually.
not nutter.
It's formally true and real, acceptable that you're not a nutter if you talk about aliens.
So there's no real, you know, firewalls. Just share it. Say, hey, I heard you. We were talking about XYZ, and I read this newsletter from my friends over at, they have a podcast called Drive to the Res. Also, there's this interesting newsletter. It's on Substack. I don't know if you know what Substack is, but you can read some pretty cool stuff.
Yes.
Here, I'll share one with you that I think you like.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah, there you go.
That's all. So we're going to do our part, sitting down with the village and meeting thousands of people and talking about our stuff.
Yes.
And you can do your part too.
Yeah.
Share with your friends.
Share
family,
with your friends.
Whoever you think be interested.
Or not. Don't know if they're interested, but you're going to share it anyway.
Well, how would you not know?
Because sometimes you don't know what a person's interested in, especially if they're keeping it secret, just like you.
Oh, that's right. Oftentimes, you will be surprised to find how many people that you associate with are actually interested in the things you're interested in.
I know. It's amazing.
Alrighty. So on to the content.
Okay. Power on Earth linked to shrines.
Very nice newsletter.
Larry was telling me about some shrines built and used in the 1700s by coastal indigenous tribes or bands as they were known in Canada.
Well, yeah, tribes and bands and whatever.
What do they call them now? They don't call them bands anymore in Canada.
Yeah, they call them bands.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why I used the word here. It's not that they... Well, it's the word you use.
Okay.
Up there. Up there being Canada.
Up there being Canada, okay.
Yeah.
The shrine the book described reminded me of Westminster Abbey in England.
Westminster, honey.
Yes.
Westminster. We went there, do you remember?
We did. It was an interesting...
I was shocked.
Yes.
And I was surprised.
Me too.
And I was shocked and surprised.
Me too.
At what was actually in there.
And what was happening in there while we were there.
And what was, happening there when we were there. Well, you have a little story there.
Yeah, we do.
Share it.
Share the story?
Do you want to share the story now or in the second hour?
Second
Because
hour.
it's a pretty good story.
Second hour. We'll share it the second hour.
It's a bit personal, private.
It's
well...
It's a long story, so let's keep it to... Yeah.
All right. So in case you don't know, we have a first hour and a second hour, and the first hour is about a half hour, and the second hour is about 2 hours.
An hour or two.
Sometimes
Between an hour or two.
So if you are interested in what we're talking about, we go into great detail in the second hour.
Yes.
Which you can get at Subscribestar.
Yes.
Or I think that Ruckfin. Yeah, we have it.
And then you can become a patron of the light. And
Okay.
Support us.
So
I'll go into that story then.
Yeah, we'll go into the Westminster Abbey story in the second hour. Okay. So the shrine, it was called a whaler shrine, by the way.
Oh, nice.
It was located in middle of Vancouver Island, yeah.
Where Victoria is.
Victoria's on the south part of Vancouver Island, and this shrine was about the middle of it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's located up
north somewhere.
North somewhere. Okay.
Anyways, although physically they didn't look like each other, the Abbey being a grand old stone building, and the shrine described in the book was hidden with no flooring but beach sand and dirt. Was it beach sand? It could have been because it was whaling,
Mostly
right?
just dirt.
The energy line they were on is the same. The same type of energy lines, I should say.
Right, not exactly the same line.
No.
We didn't actually check.
We actually did.
Well, we know where one of the lines is. It comes around through about here, so it couldn't have gone through there too.
I actually did check.
Okay, well, you checked. It's not the exact same line, but it's the same...
Energy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Line. As in not ley lines.
Maybe just describe what an energy line is.
An energy line is a frequency that can be used to construct things in reality. Okay. From this perspective of use.
Okay.
Of the words energy line. The energy line for both is that of a death cult.
A what?
Death cult.
A death cult?
Yes.
That seemed like the farthest thing you could ever guess.
Why?
On the surface of it, an abbey, Westminster Abbey, and a whaler shrine. How is that a death cult?
Yes, how indeed. Both places hold or held the bones of dead, and not any random old dead, but powerful dead.
Oh yes, that's true.
In the book that Larry was reading a selection of, there's a detailed description of the creation of one of these shrines built by a whaling chief of the tribe there, which involved the burying of powerful men in, then digging out their skulls and placing them in effigies that represented them and their power. So he would bury them.
Yeah, wait for
a few months
buds do their thing.
Yeah, and then pull them out
back
again,
up.
take off their heads and put them on effigies that represented them and buried their
or
body
even
again.
on the floor, or even into the form of a bed.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of strange things.
Yes. Other people were not allowed to go in the shrine, look at it, or even talk about it, and if they did, they would be killed. The whole thing was shrouded in secrets and occultism.
Hard to believe they wouldn't want to just share what's going on in there.
Indeed.
Maybe because if you look at it, you might say, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Should I give power to that thing?
No, don't give power to
Only what you don't know. Oh, that's why we do this.
Yeah.
So you do know. Yeah.
Okay, across the world we find these shrines. Some, such as Westminster Abbey, are still active and used daily. The one described in the book Larry was reading to me was actually sold to New York collectors by two of the headmen claiming ownership. So long as it was removed when everyone else was gone from the village.
Yeah, they could. I guess they could sell it, but they didn't want anybody knowing they sold it because otherwise maybe their heads would go off.
Yes, probably. Yes.
Somebody stole it. Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Yeah. Many churches across Europe have coffins with dead people buried in their walls and floors. Mostly these are powerful or gifted people when alive.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the creation and use of these shrines because they came about all over the world to link a death cult, an oppressive, power over others' energy into our reality. Yes, even tribal realities separated by oceans from the Spanish conquistadors, and the coming US cavalry were deeply embroidered in power over others' realities, anchored in basically the same way.
Yes.
You know what that means?
That means the rites and ceremonies basically are the same, maybe with a different name. Mm-hmm. Death cult energy anchoring in this power over others' reality.
Yes.
So those in power use these death cult energies to consolidate and hold their power in some way. And others agreed to it for whatever reason that you agree to stuff. Oftentimes you pretend you don't know or you don't want to look.
Plus, at a social level, the agreement was to have a power over others' reality, which can't happen if you're not in a separation energy.
Yeah, and that. Because, naturally you think of the ones not involved in doing the cult stuff. So just the, passive victims, I guess, of the process.
What could be. Yeah.
Right. But they aren't necessarily.
Right.
They kind of agree to it. And I bet you even in that time, there were guys and gals that are saying, wait a minute, this isn't right. Hey, maybe that's why those two guys sold that thing off.
Yes.
Sold that shrine to those New York guys. Say, get that thing out of here. Maybe things will be better if this is gone.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know because we can't talk to them. But
no, we can't talk to them.
They clearly didn't have an place value on it anymore. No. Well, a little bit of money value, but...
Yes.
Yeah.
We assume they got money for it.
They did. They got paid.
How much?
$250 each.
Oh, that's a fortune in those days, huh?
Well, they wanted $700 and they got talked down.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right. So also to underline this aspect of the light-dark paradigm, when Earth, what we know as Earth, the people of Earth and the animals and the plants of Earth decided to have this power over others, frequency, energy, and experience here, it happened all over the world at the same time. And I wanted to say that because a lot of people think or romanticize indigenous cultures around the world.
Yeah, and certain chunks like here and here and here. Yeah, they're like, those were the original connected ones and they didn't get like
corrupted but they were.
But they were.
Yes, everybody got the same energy of power over others. The way they expressed it was different in each location, depending on their culture. But it was around the world at the same time. It was at the same time. So it wasn't the conquistadors who brought in the light-dark paradigm to the Americas. It was already here. Otherwise, it would never have. It
wouldn't have been successful. They just used each other against each other. They were quite skilled at manipulation of groups against groups.
Yes.
It was like, take it a little bit to the next level.
Right.
Or take advantage of the situations.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like 17 Spanish guys killed the entire, continent of Mexico.
Right.
They had plenty of help.
Oh, yes. 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 All right. When I was looking at the information shared in the book Larry's reading, and also looking at what I have personally seen in Westminster Abbey, I noticed the common denominators between the two. I also noticed how these things don't work when what happens there becomes public knowledge.
It is diminished.
It diminishes,
There's the glorification or even the veneration of the institution, let's say. Westminster Abbey is this glorious thing. And the same with the Whaler Shrine, shrouded in the mystery of, I'm not sure exactly what goes on there. I'm not privy to the details on the inside. I just see the result is, we get whales. We get whales or we get kings, right? Kings get made at Westminster.
Yes, they do. Yeah. Yes. And the times that it's been televised, the interesting aspect about the televised version of it is that they don't show all the dead people around it.
Right. They only show that, the pedestal thing.
Yeah.
The shrine, I guess.
The shrine, yeah. They don't show all the dead people around it.
No, I did not see that until I walked in there, and I'm surprised they let us walk in there.
Well, we paid the ticket.
It. Well, yeah, we paid the ticket, but it's one of those things that would be best if it wasn't so well known. You know what I mean?
Why?
Well, when I saw what was going on there, I was a little bit taken aback, and it altered my view of the entirety,
Yeah.
So if it was televised at a mass level,
then, yeah.
that would be...
it would take away from the power.
It would take away a lot of the power. Mm-hmm. And the ability to go individually. I didn't notice a lot of other people, having the same thing as but I was fascinated that it would be like Leonardo da Vinci's here. It's like, what? And Einstein or Darwin or, these guys that are the pillars of our constructed narrative of reality.
Yeah.
The constructed narrative of reality are there.
Yes.
The pillars of that.
Yeah.
So at first I was a bit taken aback. It's like, what? That person is here, Benjamin Franklin? What?
Yes.
This people, he's right here. Yeah, it was really strange. And then after a while of walking and seeing and realizing the sheer volume of corpses.
Yes.
I was like,
it's insane.
Oh, I see. It's a death cult.
Yes.
Well, that's
fascinating.
That's fascinating. I didn't put the pieces together. You can hear the words, but until you go there, see it, touch it, and it changes its nature. It did for me anyway.
It does, yeah. Yeah, so it is as though when we take away the secrecy and occultism that shrouds these places and goings on in fear and awe, the whole thing just falls apart.
It was awe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rituals that happen at the Abbey are increasingly becoming more visible. They are also now perceived as perverted, insane, and powerless. As we learn about them, our thoughts, insights, and observations that directly sever the power of our others' energies from our earth. Yeah, I think we need to edit that a little bit.
That sentence confused me a bit.
Yeah, so basically, what's happening at the Abbey is becoming more visible. More people are talking about it, okay?
Becoming aware of it.
Yeah, and they're seen as perverted, insane, and powerless, really. Just
it's where do you want to go, do this ritual? How about where everybody's dead?
Yeah.
That'd be a good place.
Yeah.
Most of us think, I don't think that's the best place. We could come up with something better than that.
Yeah. Right. And as we learn about them, our thoughts, insights, and observation sever that power of others' energy from our earth. It disconnects the power of others' energy from earth once you educate yourself around it and take away the power that you might have given that in the past.
Right. I had a lot of it given to me, in a sense, by Disney, with the princes and the princesses and the glory of all of that. Mm-hmm. And it's definitely, certainly got severed, as I said and talked with you about it quite a lot, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, really? And then going to the Abbey and seeing where they do their thing, I'm like, yes. Here's where they pick. and as that became more visible, the going-ons of them as a group of individuals is even more startling and less nice. So yeah, that's severed. In me, I don't have any of the Disney princess thing left, that's for sure. I mean, yesterday even I was watching a quick little snippet of there was Trump and the Queen, and there was Biden and the King now, and they were both walking through the whatever the guards are called. What are the red ones? Buckingham Guards.
Oh, okay.
Or Buckingham Palace, or whatever's. Anyway, the guys in the red.
The Palace Guards. Okay.
Yeah, and they were, whatever the protocol is, they were just screwing it up, both of them. It's like walking in front of the king. Oh, you can't walk in front of the king.
Oh, my goodness.
And walking in front of the queen.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness. And then the king standing there in his coat jacket, He's wearing what must be the absolute best of the thingies in all of England, and it looks like a caricature. It is a coat jacket that is so perfect. It's ridiculous. You know?
No, I don't know. Can you explain more?
Right. So in a normal coat, you know, you have a little bit of like seams, like your body moves and it moves. Mm-hmm. And in this, it's like starched, so stiff. It doesn't have any crease or wrinkle in the front. The whole front is artificially flat. Mm. Just looked ridiculous. Of course, his sleeves had to have where his arms moved, but the front was like a shield.
Maybe it was a shield.
Maybe, but it was ridiculous.
Okay.
It was absurd. It was taken to a level beyond the real. It was surreal, I guess. Surreal. I would say. It was surreal.
Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was like the king isn't wearing any clothes. It was like that. I was like, did anybody tell you your coat looks ridiculous?
Ah, yes, indeed.
Yes.
Now I get it.
Okay.
Instead of seeing powerful priests or shamans carrying out sacred rituals which invoke supernatural energy through death and sacrifice, we see a bunch of perverted men moving about in silly costumes, doing cruel and perverted things. And the ridicule of that image takes away any sway they may have had within our collective unconscious.
Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should do something different.
It's time for life affirming shrines. How about that?
A life affirming shrine is what a high frequency paradigm has. That's a thing. We have a thing called a life affirming shrine.
Yes,
it's full of living things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The words life affirming shrines probably evokes immediate knowing of what one of these shrines might look like. And we may immediately recognize that we have visited and seen these already.
Oftentimes we find them naturally
in the forest.
On the seashore.
Yes, the seashore.
At sea, on an island, on a mountain.
Mountains.
In a space that we travel through.
Yes.
We encounter them. They already exist all by themselves.
They do, yeah.
Yesterday we found one, remember?
Oh my gosh, wasn't that beautiful?
It was incredible. Yeah, it was so incredible. It was a miracle. It was a miracle.
Yep.
It was a miracle of tree
nest.
Design. Nest. Yeah. Treeness. A miracle of tree shrine.
Yes.
That's an interesting observation. That river that we live on has multiple tree shrines.
It does, actually, yeah. We found quite a few now.
And these trees are ancient.
They are.
They are never, ever touched. Have never been molested, you know? They're just allowed to be tree.
Yes.
For as long as tree wants to be tree.
Yes.
Right. And they're fascinating what happens.
Can you describe what it looks like?
Imagine the tree with his hands and his arms out, making a little shrine area covered with the branches, but tall, right?
Yes.
Tall, but graceful. And you can walk into it, but you got to like pull open the branches a little bit. And you walk through it, and you're in this umbrella.
Yes.
Umbrella of
like
branches.
Like a temple.
Like a temple like a temple with a spire in the middle, and the spire in the middle, of course, is the tree. And then you get in there, this tree, it bent down and up, touched another tree, and then got a little away from that tree and back up again. It made this curving, cathedral-like, beautiful form, you know?
Yeah, it did.
A form it would take you, if you wanted to build it, you couldn't.
Right.
If you wanted to grow it, you would need about 100 years and a lot of circumstances.
More than 100 years, I think. More than 100.
A couple 100 years then.
Yeah.
You would need a lot of 100 years to grow it intentionally.
More than one lifetime, well, that's for sure.
Right. And a lot of circumstances that would need to line up. So it's one of those places when you see it and you stand in awe and you recognize that's where you are. And you see what's right next to you, this couple 1,000-year-old giant tree on the river edge.
Yes.
Right. You think, how many 1,000 years has it stood there?
It's so beautiful.
And it's still there, and the river is alive, like an active river, right?
Yeah, it keeps moving and shifting. And
knocking things over and all that. And this tree is still there, right there.
Right.
And the shrine right next to it. And they're one and the same. And you feel that sense of majesty and aliveness, right?
You do. Yeah. These shrines are a celebration of life, Gaia, and our people, the people of Earth. There's no secrecy around them, no pain or suffering, no martyrdom or sacrifice. On the contrary, there's plenty of knowledge, clarity, transparency, joy, light, love, inspiration, and life.
All those things.
All those things. I like to call these sacred spaces Sacred spaces, that's what I like to call them. Several years ago, I organized a class that explored and delineated how to create one of these spaces. And the link is in the article written, and probably in the description of this podcast.
Yeah, find the article at Substack if you don't know. Yeah. You can just read it.
Mm-hmm. And there is an exercise that I have shared with our students that walk with me now that empowers every single person to become an amplifier and transmitter of the true nature and energy of who we are. And this also helps, actually, a side note, to sever that power over others' energy from Earth and ourselves, because it does it from ourselves.
It severs that narrative.
Yes, yeah. Here's the exercise. Write 200 things you're grateful for and love about yourself, your life, the world, environment, and the creatures and people around you. Read this list every day and add it as you feel inspired to do. And do it for 3 months minimum.
My gosh.
The 3 months is actually like 99 days, something like that. So when I used to set up this exercise, these type of exercises that you do several days, is because I learned that to change a habit, you needed 21 days. So usually I used to say do it for 21 days. Mm-hmm. And then I read another paper that had studied this change of habit things in social science. So I can't.
Social science.
Social science, yeah. And it said it actually takes 3 months to do it. 33, 99. So, yeah. So do it for 3 months.
Try it out for 3 months.
Yes. Do it for 3 months.
It'd be a pretty nice exercise.
Do it. Just do it.
Okay, just do it.
Just do it, man. Just do it. Anyways. The exercise of feeling love and gratitude is well known within the conscious manifestation teachings to be powerful and rocket fueling with high frequency experiences. I've looked at a lot of people who teach manifestation, and they all have somewhere in their teaching gratitude and love, right? The number of things to write was inspired by a different teacher, because I used to do a handful of things, right? Mm-hmm. I used to tell people, okay, so feel gratitude for love, or feel love for something. Okay, so if you don't know what that feels like, think of one thing, like I can breathe, or I love my cat. Or,
I used to start with my pillow is soft.
My pillow is soft, that works.
I really love my soft pillow.
Okay, so start from there and then build it up by the number. And then this other teacher said 100 things, and I thought, whoa, that is so much better. Why, dilly-dally about it?
Why say 10 things or something? Go to 200.
So she said 100. She said 100, and I thought, well, our people, we're like serious manifestors. 200, man. Let's just do 200.
Well, this lines up with your prime purpose. Also, it also lines up with, being and generating and creating that energy and that experience of the high frequency light paradigm, and having those reflected back to you, those energies. Yeah. These are the things you will be reflecting back to you, these 200 things or more.
Yeah. So no more gently walking into the embodiment of the new paradigm. Let's get some serious work instead. There are immeasurable amount of items and experiences on Earth. Let's love and be grateful for 200 of them.
Okay.
How does this exercise dissolve the death cult power linked to shrines across the world? Have you heard the words, your body is your shrine, your body is your temple, or your body is a temple of God, some Christians say, right?
Yep.
As you fill your own body with love and gratitude and feelings and connecting with yourself, earth, people, animals, and everything else in our environment with the most life-affirming energy there is, love and gratitude, the shrine that you have within you, your body, becomes a powerful link to a true nature in the universe, our high-frequency natural state as human beings. This, in turn, disempowers external and artificially created low-frequency shrines within you and by association from our world. That's it. But there's a word of warning. Do not, and I repeat, do not generate gratefulness or love for negative, painful, or harsh experiences. Do not list them as things that made you a better person, because this will amplify the power over others paradigm. And I've spoken those words in so many different ways, right? But it's important. It's very important.
Well, just realize that you became who you are because you started that way.
Yes.
And
You came
these
in that
things
way.
distracted you from it, didn't make
Yes.
you it.
Make you less powerful, less
They just
bright,
made you less
light,
powerful. They just
fearful.
distracted you. They just made you have some fears. They just
Yes.
made you feel terrible. They didn't make you stronger.
No,
They only had one purpose,
to disable you.
to disable you. Because
Power over others
power over
paradigm.
others paradigm, baby. That's how it works.
Yes, indeed.
So, since what we're doing with our 200 things is grateful stuff, is like, I have a soft pillow.
yes.
I even like the fact that I have a pillow. Have you ever tried to sleep without a pillow?
Yes.
It's really
very
hard.
Very hard, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, that's a top one for me.
Yeah.
My puppies, my
Yes.
honey,
Yes.
my lovely house.
Yes.
There's so many
Lots
things
of
to
things.
feel, right? How about you?
Yes.
Like, give
My
me
shoes
five.
are super fast right now.
Your shoes are super what?
Soft.
Oh, I thought you said fast.
No.
It's like, wow, they go fast.
They go
That's
fast.
usually the...
The kids. Look how fast these shoes
how fast are
goes.
these shoes? Oh,
Yes.
these ones are super fast. Okay, let's get those ones. Yeah.
Yes.
four
I used
more.
to convince my children who didn't like to change shoes
Yeah.
by saying, these are really fast. Try them.
I did too. It
Did
always
you?
works.
It works.
So
It
that's
totally
how I
works.
picked my shoes.
Oh,
They were
there you
fast,
go.
and I want those ones. Oh, good.
Yes.
That's the kind of thing, guys.
Yeah.
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 I think we covered it.
I think so. Yeah.
I think we'll probably dive quite a bit into it with
second
Ilya
hour.
and Adelina.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure they'll have some pretty good insights.
They do.
There's a lot in here, and I imagine there's some of those death cult shrine type things in Romania too.
Probably.
I mean, Dracula, etc., etc.
Drinking the blood and body of Christ, anyone?
That one. Yeah, there's quite a few. Yikes. Alrighty.
Yes.
On to the second hour then.
All right.
Love you.
Love you.